Next up, at UFC 286, we have Christian Leroy Duncan, and he's taking on Dusko Todorovic. Christian Leroy Duncan is 7-0 in his career with 6 stoppage wins. He's taking on Dusko Todorovic, and the official is like, I can't even do like the official one.
It's Dushko, by the way. Not
it's
Dusko.
Dushko, and then I can't even.
Todorovic.
Yeah.
Dushko Todorovic.
Anyway, he's 12-3 overall, 2-3 in his last 5. He's coming off that win over the very durable Jordan Wright. Christian Leroy Duncan, this guy, solid UFC debut here. He's a high-pressure fighter, 6 finishes in 7 fights. He's got championships in like multiple regional promotions. I think he's going to have some success in this fight and in the UFC. The odds, the line movement feels that way as well. He's a powerful striker. He comes forward. He's got pressure. He's got speed. He's got creativity. He throws anything and everything at his opponents with no regard with what comes back his way. He's sloppy, but he is very, very dangerous. Solid ground and pound as well if he ends up on top. Similar to how we broke down Vitor last week. Sort of a similar guy there in can be wild, can wrestle if he needs to, can throw hard and just sort of keep coming forward. He's fighting on Dusko Todorovic, who's a technical striker. He's got power. He has takedowns. Offensive BJJ sort of rounds him out a bit. High volume guy. It lands almost 6 significant strikes per minute. But there are questions about his chin. Therefore, I think Leroy Duncan's going to win this fight. I think he's going to come forward, bomb away, ultimately connect. I think that's set up on purpose. I think that's what the UFC is looking for. But Dushko's not a bum. He's not a bum. He can be chinny at times, but he's going to be the more technical guy in this matchup. He's not going to have more power, but he does have power. He has takedowns. He is the UFC vet. And if we also learned anything from last week, you should avoid UFC debuts. I think Christian Leroy Duncan...
SD Dumas won that fight. I think we all agree with that.
He was literally finished, but I hear you.
Debatable.
Okay. I think Christian Leroy Duncan should win this fight. I think he's going to bomb away, find that chin. Dushko's chin is not the best, and obviously over time it's not going to get any better. But there's that old adage, it's mostly for boxing, but you can take it over to MMA. You box a brawler, you brawl a boxer. And if Dushko's going to keep it technical and he's going to box the brawler, he can stay on the outside, keep him at the end of his strikes, and take this fight. Absolutely. But I do think Christian wins. I'm probably not going to bet here. Does not go the distance is the way to go. It's a little bit juiced. But Christian's going to be the pick. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when I started watching these fighters in the film on Sunday for my breakdown, this was the first money line bet I placed because I think it's still good value. I got it early for the premium members. I posted that immediately, so they got a little bit better value you can get now. But I think this is one of the rare value plays for favorites on this card because there's a lot of favorites on this card that we just mentioned. Jake Hadley, we'll mention Jack Shore. There's a few people that it's like they're already kind of out of range to really trust the bet. I still think there's good value in Christian because you nailed it. If it's a striking matchup, he should have the power, and he should have the gas tank. I mean, Dushko is a guy that, in this matchup, I think he needs to wrestle. He's shown wrestling, and he's won fights kind of with wrestling. He needs to wrestle in this matchup. The issue is when he wrestles, he's got okay takedowns, but he doesn't have great control. And even when he does have control, he still will gas. I mean, he does not have a great gas tank. And I know Christian is only 7-0 as a pro, but this guy had like 25 amateur fights or something absolutely absurd. So it looks like he's inexperienced. He's got all the experience in the world. I have no idea why he fought 20-something times as an amateur, but Angelo nailed it. He's a fantastic striker. He's a pressure striker. He's a powerful striker. And Dushko, you know, he kind of fights with his hands down. He does some wild stuff in there. He does have power on his own, but, you know, he does get hit. He does get tired. Christian, in front of the home fans, I think he really shows out. This is a great matchup for him because I don't think Dushko is dangerous enough on the feet to really disrupt it and definitely not dangerous enough on the ground to control the fight there. So Christian should be able to do whatever he wants. I still love the value at whatever the odds are now, minus 210, minus 200, whatever it is. I think he absolutely should dominate this fight and walk out of there and get the crowd pretty excited. Probably finish.
Yeah, I think we're a little bit on the same page. We'll see. I wish this was a 2.5 line, but we weren't that lucky. It is a 1.5 line, but we will see.
She's so lucky. She's a star, and she's with the broken. Do you know that song, though?
I do know that song.
Yeah.
You look for every chance to sing to the point where it's like I genuinely think that you think you have an incredible voice, and you just want it. You want it to be something.
I don't think I have an incredible voice. I fucking know I have an incredible. I was in advanced choir. I literally was a handpicked advanced choir. I've talked about it before. We literally went around the malls and sang. That's why it's literally I am a singer at my core, and I think it translates well over the microphone. So yeah, I'm gonna bless the people with my angelic voice.
No, hey, congratulations on being in choir.
Well,
Great
I think
job.
Justin Timberlake was in choir, and he seems to be doing all right. He was
Is he?
he was on the fucking Disney Channel, for Christ's sake. You gonna make fun of me if I was on the Disney Channel? Cutting those
Yes.
checks? Banging those women?
The Disney girls. Congrats, pervert. $8,700 in DraftKings is probably worth it. I do think I will spend that money on Christian Duncan in DraftKings. I assume you'll do the same.
I agree.
Great. Great. But Dusko is technical. I don't think it's going to matter here.
I don't think
he's
he's
set
that.
up to lose.
I disagree with the technicality of that. I think he's a little
What
sloppy.
are his stats?
He was getting fucking bullied by Jordan Wright, which is never a good situation.
And yeah, I mean, he did get it done, but
Well, it's because
I mean,
Jordan,
right, so
Jordan Wright just the Romanov of the whatever division he's going to fight in.
he was out grappled in the first round, and then he completely reset himself to come out in the second and then finish Jordan Wright. So
Well, I mean,
listen,
Jordan Wright
I
was
hear
just absolutely gassed. So I could
We're on the
Jordan
same
Wright in that
page.
second round.
we're on the same page. We both think
You
Leroy
wanna bet?
Duncan wins this fight, but we agree. Become a premium member, guys. I promise you, it is worth it.
This shit's a joke.